Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Joseph Murphy SP course. This is the course that you didn't know about, but it turns out you need. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tim Grimes, and I have written several best-selling books about law of attraction and law of assumption concepts. I've a podcast called Law of Attraction Explored with over 100 episodes of in-depth commentary about a lot of these popular and also unknown manifesting principles and ideas. And I am the creator of, at this point, my gosh, I don't know how many videos, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos about these ideas. And I like to say that, generally speaking, the advice I share when it comes to the law of assumption, the law of attraction, manifestation, is where most of the other advice you hear, especially these days on YouTube, ends. I start where other folks end. And also, I've got a little bit of a sense of humor sometimes. And I've also got two painted nails still from Christmas time for my daughter. So I'm very excited for this free YouTube playlist / course that we're going to do about SP issues that Joseph Murphy spoke about so eloquently in his masterpiece, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. My business partner, creative partner, Marvin Daniels, who I do SP coaching with, and is just about, if not the best SP coach in the land, one of the best for sure, will be joining me intermittently, I think, throughout this series. We are going to read from, or I am going to read from, and then both Marvin and myself are going to make commentary about chapter 14 from The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, called Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems, AKA the SP chapter. So this video is just kind of a introduction, and I'm going to read the first part of the chapter. This is kind of an introduction if you don't know who I am. Marvin's not going to show up till later in the series. And something else I haven't mentioned yet is, I've written multiple books about Neville Goddard, best-selling metaphysical books on Neville Goddard, including Relax More, Try Less. I also edited a book series called The Neville Explains the Bible book series of 12 books. You can find all that stuff on Amazon. So I'm very familiar with Neville's teachings, and I've made, again, hundreds, literally over 100 videos on Neville's concepts. I'll put a link above to my Neville Goddard playlist. So I'm extremely familiar with Neville. And for those of you new here, some of the stuff that I say about Neville's teachings and Neville's approach, you have not heard elsewhere. I guarantee that. And I came into Neville, I'm a happily married guy. I also probably should mention that I've been married since 2013. Started dating my wife for coming up actually next week, I think, on 16 years. Have a couple kids. So anyway, when I found out about Neville, got into these law of attraction concepts, I was already a happily married chap. Okay. So I really didn't find out much about this SP phenomenon. I heard something here or there, but I didn't really find out about it until, 2019, 2020. And I didn't really take it seriously until I became more of an online presence these last couple of years. And it blows my mind that Neville it seems like the main reason that people find out about Neville Goddard these days is because they want to manifest their partner back, their specific person or special person, their SP back, or manifest a new SP. That's how they get into Neville. And that just seems like such a perversion of the wonderful teachings that Neville gave us, and such a misinterpretation, generally speaking, of what Neville was talking about. Now, that said, Neville made so many great points over the years about how to treat people, how to handle relationships, including romantic relationships, that of course he has SP advice to provide us, okay? But the way it's interpreted on YouTube, and again, those of you who are familiar with Marvin and my commentary about SP coaching and coaches already know this. The way that these SP ideas and this Neville advice is presented on YouTube is just insane most of the time. It lacks common sense. It often really waters down Neville's advice or completely misinterprets it. And I find a lot of it offensive. That's not to say that there are not some good nuggets shared, and even a couple of good SP coaches besides Marvin and myself talking about these ideas on YouTube. The problem is that good information is far, 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 far outweighed by the insane groupthink, drivel, bad advice that is everywhere when it comes to this SP advice. And what's really interesting and really perplexing is, Neville was so philosophical, so eloquent, but he really in no significant way was a like relationship counselor or teacher. And I think it's because he was so eloquent, and there's so many wild success stories using his wonderful techniques that are valid, they're real. I'm not saying I don't disbelieve them. There's so many fantastic stories of people using SATs and, reciting something like, isn't it wonderful, and getting their SP back, that it really encourages people to try out his techniques. And then it's marketed in this way by these YouTube influencers to make you think, oh, I'm gonna, just magically get my SP back by saying affirmations for 3 days or doing SATs twice or whatever the F it may be. But this is what I'm getting at. Neville was not a very good SP teacher. It's just not what his interest was, what he talked about all that often. Marvin and I often say, like, Florence Scovel Shinn spoke so much more clearly and was so much more down to earth with the relationship advice that she gave to people. And I think a lot of people recognize that. And the other person that is very popular, but we don't hear in this relationship talk, SP talk, all that much, is, of course, Joseph Murphy. Joseph Murphy, and particularly in The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, gives pretty much better SP advice than Neville ever did. Now, this might not be the case for all of you. Normal disclaimers here. We're very sane here. We use common sense. We're not in la la land. For some of you, Neville's advice is going to be better than anyone else's when it comes to manifesting your SP, okay? That goes without saying. It also should go without saying that I love Neville. Marvin loves Neville. Neville's a wonderful teacher. What Marvin and I are just trying to convey here in this video series, course, playlist, or whatever you want to call it, is that Joseph Murphy, in the chapter we're about to read the entirety of in this video course, is giving you better relationship advice than you're going to hear pretty much anywhere else in these manifesting circles, including Neville. Okay? If you listen to the advice Murphy gives in this chapter called Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems and start applying it, it is going to help you. It's going to help you. And then if you want, you can obviously watch, some of the over 100 or excuse me, multiple hundreds of videos between Marvin and myself that we have done on SP issues. And if you want a free consultation with Marvin and I to help you more, we'll provide you that. And if you want actual coaching where you work with us one-on-one or in a group setting and get real SP coaching and realize that the real SP is yourself and fix your relationship issues for good, you can get that as well if you want it. But if you don't want anything, in the very least, I would encourage you to listen, or if you don't want to wash my mug and listen to me, read the chapter in The Power of Your Subconscious Mind called Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems. And that's what we're about to start to do. And we're going to do over the next several videos. When I do these long course playlists, and we've done these on Murphy chapters in this book before. I'll actually put a link above to another free Joseph Murphy course we did on different techniques he explains. Unbelievable chapter. But when we do this course, it's incredibly informal. Okay, that's why people like it. Very down to earth. And if you have questions, you can reach out to me at radicalcounselor.com, email me at info@radicalcounselor.com, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Or if you leave a polite, semi-sane comment in the comment section, I likely will answer it. Heck of an introduction. Unbelievable. Wow. Let's start reading this chapter, huh? So this is the opening to the chapter, Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems. Joseph Murphy, or as we often call him, Joey Murphy, as just, a fun jokingness. Joey Murphy writes, ignorance of the functions and powers of the mind is the cause of all marital trouble. Friction between husband and wife can be solved by each using the law of mind correctly. By praying together, they stay together. The contemplation of divine ideals, the study of the laws of life, the mutual agreement on a common purpose and plan, and the enjoyment of personal freedom bring about that harmonious marriage, that wedded bliss, that sense of oneness where the two become one. What an opening paragraph. I still remember I had a great comment a few years ago on YouTube. We were reading Murphy, and the commenter said, Murphy just sounds like that wise old man, like that wise old grandfather figure that gives you just sage advice. That paragraph we just read, isn't that what so many of us want? It's like that deep, peaceful, gratifying, spiritual, romantic relationship with a partner where two become one. Murphy just clarifies that so beautifully. He goes on to write, the best time to prevent divorce is before marriage. It is not wrong to try to get out of a very bad situation. But why get into the bad situation in the first place? Would it not be better to give attention to the real cause of marital problems? In other words, to really get at the root of the matter involved? As with all other problems of men and women, the problems of divorce, separation, annulment, and endless litigation are directly traceable to the lack of knowledge of the working and inner relationship of the conscious and subconscious mind. Another way to look at that, by the way, Emile Coué, the great teacher, my favorite LOA teacher who influenced Murphy and Neville, he always said, there's the conscious mind and then there's the subconscious mind. But he goes, the subconscious, and obviously this book's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. The subconscious, Coué said, for practical purposes, is synonymous with your imagination. So that so much of this law of assumption, law of attraction stuff, and in case you can't tell, they're the same thing as far as I'm concerned. There's no real difference between the law of assumption and law of attraction. And here Murphy talks about law of mind, right? All saying the same thing. Anyway, Coué, Murphy are both getting at that most of these manifesting principles are about using your conscious rational mind and your subconscious mind, aka your imagination. In other words, getting your rationality and your imagination on the same page. Because what happens is when your rationality is not on the same page, when you want something like a relationship, but your imagination is not on the same page with you, your imagination is going to say it's not going to happen. The law of reversed effort that Coué explains so well is going to occur where you rationally want something, but your imagination works against you instead of for you. Both Coué and Murphy are teaching us how to have our imagination, our subconscious, work for us so we can have harmonious, loving, romantic relationships and great relationships in general with the people in our life. And it's worth mentioning here before we end this first part of the course that Murphy says, first of all, the best time to prevent marriage is before you get married, right? And it's okay to get out of a very bad situation. Okay, so we'll cover more of that in the future. But remember, it's fine to, if something's bad, you can end it. You can get out of it. Too many people in SP situations stay when they should not. But the best is to be good from the beginning and to recognize that if you're in a good relationship, you want to cultivate it and not be stuck in something or start something that really is not best for you. So much common sense. More of it's coming our way in a little bit. All right. I'll see you next video.